turned the chair of Adam Levine and we're on Team Adam. What was that like?
Man, that was amazing being on Team Adam. It was so cool. You know, he's such a rock and roll icon of my time. I grew up listening to his stuff all the time, and feel like he has a very unique voice for a male, and I feel like I have that too. So it's just really cool to get to work with him, man. If there was one coach I wanted to be with, I wanted it to be him.
And now we're gonna jump back in time a little bit more. When you were in your mid-20s, I believe Kid Rock recorded
Yeah.
and released one of your songs. You want to tell us a little bit about that situation?
Yeah, so I was actually 20 years old when that happened, and I'm in my mid 20s now. But yeah, so Kid Rock, that was my first cut as a songwriter. I've spent a lot of time in the Nashville area co-writing with just whoever, you know, as many artists or writers who will write with me. And yeah, so I wrote a song with my stepdad, James LeBlanc, and a guy named Heath Owen, who is the son of Randy Owen from the band Alabama. And uh, we wrote a cool song. And the next day, Heath Owen ran into Kid Rock at a party, and Kid Rock was cutting songs for a record. And he said, "Well, check this one out." And he loved it and cut it. So that was really awesome, man. That was my first cut as a songwriter.
It's like perfect timing too.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Um,
was fun.
so Adam Levine, Kid Rock, Alabama. That kind of leads into a question that I ask a lot on this show. Um, if let's say you're going out on tour and for some reason you decide to hire me to drive the bus, what bands, what songs, what kind of music are we going to listen to in between show dates?
Man, I mean, for me, it's gonna be like some Tom Petty and Neil Young. I'm also a huge fan of Weezer. I love the '90s, man. The '90s is like one of my favorite eras of music ever, and especially the rock stuff that was being made. It was just so melodic and cool, and everybody was really like trying to blaze a trail and doing a bunch of unique and weird stuff. I listen to a lot of that kind of stuff, man. There's nothing that I mean, even '90s and some hip hop today. I listen to a lot of different stuff. My shuffle is so broad, but I think we could definitely rock out a bit.
I would not argue about any of that stuff. I'm clearly older than you. I lived through the '90s.
Man,
Um,
I'm jealous.
I still remember the first time I heard Nirvana. My next door
Wow.
neighbor's grandson brought it over on cassette, and we listened to it on my parents' front porch.
Man, that's so cool. I remember my first times hearing stuff. I mean, I'm also a big '70s fan, you know, like Zeppelin and Hendrix, obviously. I love all that stuff. I'm just a rock guy through and through. I mean that but like yeah, the first time I heard Weezer and the first time I heard Nirvana, I remember those moments, man, and just being like, whoa, like what is this stuff? I, I think I had that same kind of experience that people must have had when it first came out, except I was just, you know, I was having it in the, I guess, the mid 2000s or something when I was a kid, just getting into music.
Um, Something else that I want to touch on, and we're gonna get this out of the way. What is the lineage is the word I'm going to use between you and Elvis?
So the relationship is that uh, my grandfather's great aunt is Elvis's grandmother, if that makes sense. So it's pretty. I mean, it's not like super close, but it is kind of close at the same time. That when you think about it, it's not that far removed. I guess him and my granddad are something like second cousins. They told me I just say we're cousins. That's the easiest way to
That's
put
yes.
it. Yeah.
um, so can you pinpoint that moment when you knew that you wanted to be a musician and you wanted to sing and write and be on stage?
Yeah, for me, it was. I always loved music when I was younger. I mean, to me, rock stars and guitarists were always like, I saw them as gods. It just in my mind, it is the coolest thing ever. When I was in school, I was always around a guitar and always singing and learning stuff because my family was so musical, and they're all really great musicians, like truly like well trained and touring musicians. And so I was always around it, but I got into sports, and so I played a lot of sports through middle school and high school. And it wasn't until I graduated high school or was about to graduate, when I was like, this is what I'm gonna do music full time and pursue a career. But I always thought that being a rock star is the coolest thing you could be. I've just that has always been the case in my mind. I've always seen guys like that as kind of mythical. From the moment I first saw the video of Hendrix, lighting his guitar on fire. That is just as cool as you can possibly be, and I've always wanted to be that.
Um, if you had a chance to sit down with your musical idol, first of all, who would you pick? And what is that first question that you're going to ask to get that conversation started?
Oh man, that's hard. I would probably have to pick Tom Petty, just because he's probably my favorite of all time if I had to pick one. Um, I would just ask about songwriting, really. To me, like his songs are what has carried him and made him so timeless. And I kind of want to be like that. And I've always been a songs person. And my stepdad was a hit songwriter, and so that was kind of beat into my brain from an early age that you got to have great songs. And I would just ask him where all of those songs came from, because I mean, talk about a career. Somebody like him or Paul McCartney, those guys that are just known for having unlimited amounts of great songs.
And Paul just continues to do it, like,
Yeah, yeah.
amazingly.
So it's unreal, man. He's unbelievable.
Um, so Metallica is played in Antarctica, and Kiss one time played in a bay in Australia to sharks. And my friend Jazz has played one of his original songs at the South Pole. What is a non-traditional venue that you would like to play one of your songs at?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say something crazy like Stonehenge, or some weird location like the Colosseum, like the old Greek, the Roman Colosseum,
I
just
wonder,
like
I wonder
so,
what the acoustics would be like there.
yeah, yeah, just something that would just make for a wild visual. There don't even have to be people there, just like something that would look awesome and rock and roll.
Um, so this is the point where I'm going to ask you those questions I mentioned earlier that you've probably never been asked before.
Let's
Um,
go.
so I have an official build a scene question and an unofficial build a scene, and build a scene is like the overarching umbrella of what I do. Um, the unofficial one is, what is the best pizza you've had because you're a musician?
Mm. Man, I've had a lot. I've had a lot. My favorite pizza personally is, there's a chain in Louisiana called Johnny's Pizza, and I love Johnny's Pizza. I mean, it's probably my favorite. And I'm a regular like pepperoni guy, but that's my personal favorite. Uh, I love all the food in Louisiana. Like I don't think I've ever had a bad meal in Louisiana. Everything down there is great. Even like the chain stuff just is better. But I'd have to go Johnny's, and if anybody's ever in Louisiana, hit it up.
And then the official question is, who's your Dave Grohl? And by that I mean, who do you want to go up on stage and perform one of their songs with them?
Ooh, I, man, I would have to say Prince. Like Prince is the coolest person ever. I know he's not alive anymore. Do you want somebody that's alive now, or just anyone? Does it
So,
matter?
the next question I ask you is going to have a DeLorean in it. So I'll just let you borrow the DeLorean
Okay.
early.
Okay. So now, I would go Paul McCartney. Then I would probably get up and love to sing like some classic Paul McCartney song like Band on the Run, something like that. Just and be up there with him doing something like that.
All right, so you can definitely use Prince on this one or someone
Okay.
else once you hear it. Hey, so you're leaving one of your shows. There's a DeLorean sitting outside with its door in the air, a flux capacitor in the back seat, and Marty went back in time and played with Chuck Berry's cousin Marvin. Who are you going to go back in time and play with?
I'm gonna go back and play with Prince. I'd have to do it, man. I'd have to go back to like his prime and play. I just be up there and watch him work a crowd that's literally just falling out of their seats, because they're enjoying it so much. That would be my choice.
Um, so tell me, I'm just throwing them at you. Tell me about an embarrassing moment that you've had on stage.
So one time, this was almost really embarrassing. I've never had anything super embarrassing happen. I've had like my nose has started to bleed during gigs some like once, which was weird. One time I will say I was starting to pass out on stage in front of a really big crowd. And we were on the road in Boise, Idaho, my band Outlaw Apostles, and we were opening for Easton Corbin. And it was a really big show. There was a ton of people there, but we had just rolled in. Like, I mean, we were booking it to get there, to get out there, and you're in the altitude, and it's like 100 degrees. It was the middle of summertime, and so I'm on stage, and I literally started to pass out, and like it's all the blackness is like closing in around you. And I remember just kind of like fading back. I'm in the middle of singing a song, and I had to just kind of stop and like go back and sit on my amp for like half of a verse and just let the band rock out while I recovered. But that one was almost really embarrassing. I would have been embarrassed by that, just for the seriousness of fainting on stage. But luckily, I made it through without fainting. But
Yeah, I I asked that question on one of my shows earlier, and they talked about tripping, and I once tripped in a classroom. Don't do that. You fall in front
yeah,
of a
that's
bunch of
rough.
little kids,
Yeah,
and
that'd be rough. I've done that before.
another time I had a office chair shoot out from on like I was doing an experiment with my fourth graders, and the chair shot out and flipped me through the air, and I came down on the lab table. Not a pretty
That's
sight.
that's wild.
But actually, it was a stool, and then the next day they put a regular office chair in there because my principal was worried.
Wow, wow,
But
that's insane. Yeah.
for the record, I was okay, but very
Yeah,
embarrassed.
I'm glad.
um, okay, so let's see. You mentioned Stonehenge, and I used to ask this question a lot. There was a band from Denton, Texas called Diesel Beast. They were the first band I ever asked. And the question was, if you could open for any band anywhere in the world, who would you want to open for and where? And the reason that the band sticks in my head is because their answer was they wanted to open for Dio at Stonehenge. Um,
Wow,
so I'm going to
that'd be cool.
turn that question over to you. Who would you want to open for and where?
I would want to open for U2 if they could do another Slane Castle concert. That would be my answer. I mean, that's like I don't know if you've ever seen U2 live at Slane Castle, but
I have not.
it's my favorite concert footage of any band, and it just rocks, man. They're in their hometown, I think, and there's like hundreds of thousands of people there in Ireland, and it's incredible. Most insane crowd I've ever seen. I would that's where I'd want to go.
Very cool. Um, that hometown thing. I once saw Poison in Pittsburgh, and Brett Michaels is from Butler, which isn't that far.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and he was definitely hyped up.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen him there twice, and both times.
That's awesome, man. I bet that was fun.
um, so bands that I've seen Poison, Motley Crue, Kiss, Aerosmith, um, Ted Nugent. I can't even remember all of them, but I feel like those are bands that might be on your list from things that you were talking about earlier. But who are some of the um, bands that you have seen live?
My first concert was Motley Crue and Aerosmith. That was my first concert. Motley Crue, Aerosmith. That was in Nashville. I've seen Paramore a lot. I love Paramore, especially like 2000s Paramore when they were rocking. That was my thing in middle school. I've seen a lot. I've seen the Eagles. That was an incredible show. Let me try to think because I've seen a lot, man. I've been to a lot of concerts with my dad. I've seen Heart. That was awesome. Um, I'm trying to think of some more. I've seen Coldplay, U2, uh, saw Muse. I think they opened for U2. That was a fun that was a fun show. And I've seen Queen with Adam
Oh,
Lambert, and that was a great show. That was an incredible concert, man. Seeing
um,
them with Adam Lambert was great.
so now I'm really put you on the spot, but I will follow up and tell you mine. What is the worst concert you've seen?
Ooh, I think Bob Dylan. I'd have to say Bob Dylan. I say that because I was just, me and my whole family, we were fired up to see him, and he played one song that we had ever heard before, and so that kind of made it a rough night, man.
So mine was Aerosmith. Um,
Wow.
and they just had a bad night, and
Mm.
um, they they were touring with Kiss, and they were alternating who headlined each show, and at our show Aerosmith was headlining, but they were touring on their blues album, Honking on Bobo, so they had like a New Orleans
Mhm.
themed stage. So you went from Kiss, flying and spitting blood and throwing swords, and then they were sitting on benches, and
Yeah.
and I think Steven Tyler was sick that night because Joe Perry sang leads on almost everything.
Wow.
So
That's
um,
wild.
if I had a chance to see them again, I definitely would. Still love them. Bad night
Yeah.
for them though.
That's rough, but it happens, man. It happens.
Hey, so let's talk about why we're actually here. Um, you just released a song, "Too Good to Be True." Tell us. We're gonna do kind of my flashback here. Tell me about the recording process for that.
So I recorded this a while back. It was definitely before I was on The Voice, and we recorded down at Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and had my step. Actually, it was basically my former band, Outlaw Apostles, who played on it. This track just came out under my name, but it was all of those band members, and yeah, we cut it at Fame. Um, it was a really cool session. I just tracked a lot of stuff, and that was one that I wanted to put out right now because it's just kind of a transitioning, coming of age type of song. And, I felt like it was a cool one to come out with coming off the show, and kind of moving into something different. And so, yeah, that's kind of why I went with it.
So The Voice is the show you were. If anyone's just tuning in now,
Yeah.
um, how did being on that show affect you as a musician? Has it changed anything that you're doing?
No, no, the voice, if anything, it just confirmed to keep doing what I'm doing, and that's what I love about that show is that they just kinda let you be who you are, and they want you to be your own character, and so, getting that chair turn from Adam, that was just big for me, and that was the main thing we had was, he just always told me that he loved who I was and to keep doing that. And so, that, is more important than any advice you can get. I feel like, knowing that I'm already an artist and that just do what I do and, keep doing that until something pops off.
Um, so some people that watch the show that know who I am and where I'm from, um, know this, but Mia Zanotti, who goes by Mia Z, was on The Voice years ago, and I can almost see her house over my shoulder. um, so you are not the first Voice alumni on one of my shows, but it's cool when they come on.
Hey, yeah, man, I'm happy to be here.
um, let's see, what else can I hit you with? Oh, hey, so you still have the DeLorean, and now you have a chance to have dinner with any four people in the history of the world. The only caveat being that at least one of them has to be a musician. Who are you
Okay.
gonna who are you inviting to your table?
Oh man, any four people. I'm a big sports guy, so I gotta have Michael Jordan in there at dinner. Um, I'd say somebody historic, like big in history. I would say like Abraham Lincoln. Um, man, it's hard. A musician. Let's get somebody cool like Sinatra who could tell us some mob stories. That would be
I was
fun.
just watching
And
mob documentaries last night.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and then who's somebody just crazy? Man, I don't know. Got the DeLorean. I'm a big history buff, man. I keep my mind would go back on history. Somebody like like a Napoleon Bonaparte or somebody crazy like that. Just a wild four, like, but got some
Be interesting to see what they would
sports.
talk about.
Got yeah, yeah, yeah. Some sports, some music, some history. Yeah, cool.
All right, so let's do kind of a history legend kind of thing. Um, so in blues, there's a legend that Robert Johnson was a terrible guitar player, and he would come and try and play it, and they would kick him out, and he disappeared for a year. And when he came back, he was a phenomenal guitar player. And the legend goes that he sold his soul to the devil at a crossroads. So if you're at that same crossroads, I know physically, but and why are you there? Like, what is that one thing that you have to have? And if you hate the fact that I'm asking you to sell your soul to the devil, it's just one thing that you haven't done yet that you would like to do.
Oh, man, I just want to like sell out arenas and stadiums, whatever it is that gives you that power. I want like all of that fame, like that album of the year type of fame. Uh, I would totally sell my soul exactly like he did. I don't blame him at all. I would want it. I would want the biggest record deal possible and all the money just to pour into making me a star.
A lot of people hesitate when I ask it that way. That's why I kind of add
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No,
Um,
not me, man. I'm about it.
um, if another artist was to find your song too good to be true and want to cover it, um, first of all, I'm sure Kid Rock has recorded your stuff that you're gonna be like, yes, do it. But who would you hope it would be?
Um, Harry Styles. I'd say somebody like that who's massive right now, and kind of on the, I guess, the cutting edge of pop, but kind of can be edgy too. Somebody like that, I think, would be cool, for my own personal gain as well.
Um, so you're kind of in like country music mecca, but
Hmm.
then Muscle Shoals. Anyone who knows history, that is Leonard Skinner's home territory. We'll call it.
Yep.
Um, what's it like being in those places? I've never been to either, so
Yeah, it's amazing, man. There's so much musical history, and you grow up in it. Growing up in it, it just exposes you to it, and you learn so much stuff that's just so cool. And um, for me, I want to add on to the legacy. I just want to keep it going, and it makes me want to have success even more, and keep it going and keep it relevant. Because it's my hometown, and I have pride in it. That's where I was born. But I mean, I go back to Nashville a lot, and I'm kind of all over the place. But the Shoals is like my home. So just adding to that legacy in any way, because so much cool stuff happened here. And you don't want to see it die out.
um, so I get that Pittsburgh. Like nobody thinks of bands that have come up from Pittsburgh, but there are some pretty big name like Brett Michaels and Ricky Rocket are from this area. Um, the band Wild Cherry play that funky music that was here. Um, in fact,
Yeah,
one of the
that's
bands who
awesome. I didn't know
played in
that.
my living room when I first started doing this, um, the drummer from Wild Cherry was in that band at one point, Ron Beidel.
Wow,
So,
that's amazing.
Wiz Khalifa is from here. There's
That's
all
cool.
kinds of. But anyway, what I want to do now is and I'm kind of springing this on you, but I have your website pulled up. Um,
Heck yeah.
what would you like me to show them on it?
Um, you could go down and show them my yeah, YouTube is good. My YouTube channel. You want them to see a video?
Well, here's the thing. Because we're live on social media, if I do that, they're going to mute the video. So what I can do though is, if you
Right.
want, I can embed these into my show notes on my website. So, and I'll do
Okay.
that, and I'll link back to it as well, so people can check it out.
Okay.
Um, I really want to click on
I got a really,
Gunslinger.
yeah. That's a good one. I'll say I got a cool T-shirt down there for sale too, if you want to show them that. But
There we go.
yeah, it's
And
nice.
we'll click on that and take a look.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go on there and snag you one and rep Bay Simpson, man. We got to get the word out.
Um, if you had 30 seconds on national TV to tell the people watching why they should go to baysimpson.com and check you out and get some of your music, what would you tell them?
I would just tell them that I'm an authentic artist, rock and roll artist, and it's what it says right there. Laurel Canyon meets Muscle Shoals. That's very true. I've got a lot of that Tom Petty, kind of birdsy type of influence in my sound, and it's very melodic. And I want people to fall in love with the music first and foremost, and to go to that website and go to my streaming links. They're all there at the top, and check out my discography and find a song that you love, and hopefully and keep listening to it.
Um, so what's going to happen with Too Good to Be True is it'll be played at the end of this episode when we're done chatting. And then we also, I'm associated with the website called Music from the 412. And
Okay.
I have a segment on there called Get Out of Town. And we'll be throwing it in there. And it'll Did you hear that?
I did.
Man. Anyway, so it'll go in rotation on Get Out of Town, and it'll be in rotation as a whole on music from the 412. So if anyone wants to check out Bay and other unsigned and independent and also major artists, because we do still play a little bit of that too. Go
Man,
to music from
that's awesome. I
412.com.
appreciate you doing that. That's cool.
Um, all right, so is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to talk about before I let you go off into the evening?
I think that's it, man. You can follow me on social media at Bay Simpson Music is my Instagram and TikTok handles, and on Facebook is just Bay Simpson. And then yeah, my streaming is under my own name. So that's about
Hey,
it.
that last part right there just broke up. Could you say that just one more time?
Oh,
It's been iffy, but I want to make
oh
sure
yeah,
I hear that one.
I just said I kind of saw it break up. Yeah, just Bay Simpson. Go stream my music, man. I'd appreciate it.
Okay. So we're going to listen to Too Good to Be True, and make sure you join us. Normally, I would say next week for the next episode, but we're not in the summer yet. So make sure you go to BuildtheScene.com, check out 3 Questions and a Song, Pennsylvania Rock Show, Pennsylvania Rock Show Flashback. Head to BaySimpson.com, order yourself a t-shirt, get some music, and follow him on his journey. And thanks for being on, Bay.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. This was a good time.
You're welcome. Thank you.